Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to understand about one more technique of capital budgeting decisions, that is the certainty equivalent method, right? So in the last video we have understood about the sensitivity analysis. Today we are going to understand about this method. As in my last video I have told you that which method you have to adopt while solving these questions, I will not provide it to you. So in the sensitivity analysis I had told you about the hint how you are going to determine whether the question is asking for which type of method, right? Now in this case, in certainty equivalent method, certainty coefficients will be provided to you. From this you can understand that you are going to apply this method. The company wants to apply this method in selection of a particular project or not, right? So the question has been given with the information that there are two projects A and B. Each involves an investment of 50,000 rupees, right? The cash outlay or the cash outflows or the investments all can be used for a particular type of expenses for a particular project, right? So investment for both the projects is 50,000 each. The expected inflows and the certainty coefficients are provided as under, right? That means the company is having an opportunity of two projects. One they needs to select, right? So it is a 3-year project, 1, 2 and 3, and project A has a cash inflows of, in the first year the company is going to earn 35,000 rupees if they opt for project A. In second year they are going to earn a return of 30,000 rupees, and in third year they are going to earn a return of 20,000 rupees. But what is the probability for earning this return? That is coefficient for certainty is, that is 80% is the chance that the company is going to earn 35,000 rupees and 20% not, right? 70% for second year, right? In case the company opts for project A, there is 80% chance that the company is going to earn a return of 35,000 rupees in first year, right? In second year, it is a 70% chance that the company is going to earn a return of 30,000, and 30% is a chance that the company is not going to earn a return of 30,000. It can be either more than it or less than 30,000, right? And in the third year, it is a 90% certainty that the project A in year third is going to give you a return of 20,000. In project B, the inflows, in case the company opts for project B, it is a certainty coefficient of 0.9 that the company is going to earn a cash inflow of 25,000 in first year. 0.8 of certainty coefficient is there that the company is going to earn a return of 35,000 in second year, and 0.7 in case of third year that the company is going to earn a return of 20,000. Now in the last method we have seen that the returns were same for a particular number of years, so we have used PVIFA table, that is the annuity table. But in this case we can see that the returns are different for each year. So here we are not going to use the annuity table, we are going to use the present value and interest factor table, right? So what we are going to do is, we are going to multiply the coefficient value with the cash inflows so that we can get the certainty amount, right? Certain cash flows, right? So let me copy this table from here and let me paste here, right? Now we are going to insert one column in each side, right? So here I am putting the column, right? Fine. We can minimize the gap over here so that one more column can be inserted, right? Because I need to put 2 more columns, right? This is, and last one is this, right? So here I am going to write for project A certain cash flows, right? And how we are going to get this? We are going to multiply the cash inflows with a certainty coefficient. So if we multiply 35,000 from 0.8, we are going to get the amount here 28,000, right? When 30,000 is multiplied by 0.7, it is simple, that is 21,000, and 0.9 multiplied by 20,000 is 18,000, right? So these are the certain cash flows. Out of 35,000, if 80% is sure, that is 28,000 is the amount which certainly the company is going to get the return for first year, right? Similarly, we are going to insert one more column over here, right, for getting what? Certain cash flows for project B, right? Here I am going to write certain cash flows, fine. So 0.9 multiplied by 25,000, this will provide you 22,500, right? 35,000 multiplied by 0.8 is 28,000, fine, and 20,000 multiplied by 0.7 is 14,000. So with this, I have got individual cash flows, certain cash flows, right? So we are going to make one more table, or simply without table we can go for this. That is for project A, right? For project A, we are going to see, because these are the returns which I am going to earn at the end of every year, right? At the end of year 1, I am going to get a certain cash flow of 28,000. At the end of year 2, I am going to get a return of 21,000. And at the end of year 3 in project A, there is 18,000 of the amount which I am certainly going to receive, right? So now I need to find out the present value, because I have to invest today. So I have to see today's value of money. So this is the reason why we are using time value over here, right? So formula I know, and you also know, for NPVs, inflows minus outflows. So 28,000 multiplied by PVIF R, N, right? Then is 21,000, right? Multiplied by PVIF R, N, right? Then again third is 18,000 PVIF R, N, right? Then 28,000 PVIF for R, N. Here R is given as, let's say, it's suppose 10%, right? That is risk-free rate is 10%, right? So we know that return is 10% and N is, this is at the end of year 1, right? So N will be 1. So from this table, PVIF table, I can see for 10% at the end of first year. N is given in the vertical side and the R is given on the horizontal side. So 10% for 1 year is 0.909, right? We are going to simply write this over here, right? Then 21,000, I am going to get the return this at the end of second year. That means at the end of 2 years, I am going to get the return of 21,000. So for 10% at the end of 2 years is 0.826, right? So we are going to multiply it with 826. Then is 18,000, right? So this is the amount which I am going to earn at the end of year 3. That means for third year I have to see this, that is 0.751, right? So this is 0.751, fine. So this will be amount as, let us calculate this. This is 28,000 into 0.909 is 25452. 25452. Then 21,000 multiplied by 0.826, this is 17346. Right, and for third the value will be 13518, right? And this gives me the sum of 56,316, and this is my inflow, right? So NPV will be inflows minus outflows, right? Minus outflows. So inflow is 56316 minus cash outflow is 50,000. So this is giving me a return of 6316 rupees. That means this is giving a positive return to me, right? This is for project A. Now we are going to see this for project B. Similarly, for this we have found the PVIF table value will be same because the years are same, but the certain cash flows are different. So for 22,500 at the end of first year is 0.909. We are going to multiply this. Then 28,000 multiplied by 0.826, right? Then third is 14,000 multiplied by 0.751, right? So if we are going to multiply for project B, we are going to get 22,500 multiplied by 0.909. This is 20,453, right? Then 28,000 multiplied by 0.826. This is going to give me 23,128. And for third, the value will be, that is 14,000 multiplied by 0.751. This is 10514. And the summation for this will be 54095, right? So NPV is equal to inflows minus outflows. Inflows is 54095 minus outlay is 50,000. This is giving me a net return of 4095, right? So in both the cases, I can see the NPV is positive. For project A is 6316, right? And for project B, it is 4095, right? Now we can see this, that the return or NPV for project A is more than project B. So the company is going to invest its funds in project A. So the interpretation will be as the company is getting NPV more in project A as compared to project B, so the company will opt project A, right? This is a very good part that you write the interpretation, because when the examiner sees or observes that the student knows what actually the question demands, so you can easily fetch the marks, right? So this is one of the other methods and very important method, right? So I hope this is clear to you. Fine. Keep practicing these questions, and in the next video we are going to understand one more technique for capital budgeting. Thank you.